on 1116 SEN. Sports Overdrive.
What about the self-belief in this group? It's really bubbled to the surface in their final moments for the icing on the cake.
Well, 5 goals of difference at half-time. You'd be brave to pick the Vixens to win from there, but they are a team who just continually overachieved all year.
What a fight back it has been. They trailed at quarter time by 4. They were down by 5, as he said, Liz, at half-time. Scores were level at three-quarter time, and the players and the fans are going to enjoy this. What a gutsy comeback. The Melbourne Vixens are off to the grand final, direct entry, and it will be on their home turf. Can they be the first team to win a Trans-Tasman title twice? They prevail by 6.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's...
Minutes to 11 o'clock. That's right, the Melbourne Vixens through to the grand final after a 56-50 victory over the Northern Mystics. Superwomen Live, the official show of the Melbourne Vixens and Netball Victoria. This week's edition proudly presented by the Melbourne Vixens premier partner Jason Betting, helping the Melbourne Vixens rest and recover. A big thank you to Channel 10 for that audio. As said, throughout the night and into the morning, we'll keep a very close eye on Wimbledon and also Formula One action and plenty more things going on in the world of sport. But let's get into it. Joining us now on a Superwomen Live, one of the stars, the player that I think will win the league MVP, Madison Browne. Another outstanding game, and the Vixens again showing their calmness under pressure, their coolness under an intense situation to come from behind against the Northern Mystics, the only New Zealand side to have beaten the Vixens this season. They were able to turn the tables and win 56-50 with a super second half, turning it around and squaring the game up in the third quarter and then getting on top to go away with it in the last. Maddie, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It has been a very exciting day for all of us, so I'm glad I can hopefully tell you what it felt like out there on court, because it was absolutely amazing.
I guess sitting back now and a few hours after the game, reflecting back now, obviously there's still one very, very significant game to win, but for a lot of the girls on in the side or playing at the moment, weren't a part of the premiership side from 2009. Obviously, there are some of you that were, like Chatfield and Corletto and these sorts of players, and obviously Sherelle's floating around. It was a part of that as well. But it's a new experience for a lot of you to be in this position.
Well, that whole attack end from, I'm talking mainly goal shooter, goal attack and wing attack. Chelsea Tregear was obviously there in 2009, but Taryn Howarth and Tegan Corwell and myself, for all of us, it was pretty much our first finals game today. So none of us had actually played ANZ finals games before. So it was a pretty probably nerve-wracking but very exciting time for us today. But it is fantastic to have the opportunity to play that grand final at home. And one more important game to go, as you said, and I'm sure we'll be doing everything in our power to make sure that we have our hands on that trophy at the end of the day.
The experience of Rod Laver Arena, of course, the courts are always the same size and the ball's the same size and all that sort of stuff, but it's a different environment and obviously a big crowd and I guess the main event for you girls to be out there on Rod Laver Arena. What was that experience like with the crowd and everything and the slightly different surroundings?
Well, it's the pinnacle place to play sport in Melbourne, isn't it? So
yeah.
To be on that stage and, even the lead up in the media and just knowing that we had the opportunity to play at Rod Laver, being Victorians, was obviously very exciting. And the crowd was electric. I don't know whether, we did have, I think, around 6,000 to 7,000 fans there, which was awesome. But I think it's just that whole buzz and vibe around the place. I mean, you walk behind the scenes and think of the tennis or think of concerts. And, I mean, I think we were in Lady Gaga interim or something. She just performed there last week. So it has just got this special thing about it. So I think it was a very enjoyable and exciting experience for everyone involved.
Where'd the game swing today, do you think? Obviously went to half-time down by 5, but the Mystics had jumped you early, so you'd sort of stabilised the game a bit in the second quarter, and then you were able to swing it back in the third. But where do you think the wheel turned, I guess, in this match?
Well, we knew that it wasn't going to. A lot of people have said, "Oh, you didn't get out to that start," which I know we've always been talking about, and no, we didn't. We got the first couple of goals, but then let them back in there, and from then on, it just seemed like to be a bit of a shootout, and our defence had usually turned over a lot of ball, and we didn't quite get the intercepts or the gained possession as we would have liked in the first half. But that was absolutely fine because we knew that what we were going to do was just going to keep every minute of every ball, just always be there, wearing them down. And I think that's exactly what our defence did. And then in the second quarter, we obviously got those intercepts and those extra gained ball and capitalised on it. And that was probably the turning point. I mean, a lot of people said, what was said at half-time? You came out and you were all firing, and I guess we just knew this was our chance, this was our time, and as I said, we knew it was going to be 60 minutes battle, and we just had to be there, just always had to be providing options and constantly wearing their bodies down, and it came through in the end.
Always talking about peaking at the right time in sport, and obviously the Vixens went through a lull of sorts in the middle of the season where you dropped a couple of games. You were still highly competitive, but then got back on track with that big win against Adelaide. But did you feel perhaps in New Zealand that the wheel really turned in regards to your form? Two really impressive performances against the improved Pulse and then the Steel, who are difficult to beat at home. Big wins, big consistent performances on the road. Do you feel that perhaps the wheel turned when you were over in New Zealand at that doubleheader to get you back towards that sort of form you had right at the start of the season?
Yeah, I definitely think that was the case. And, I mean, a lot of people even said at the start of the year, you've got a nightmare of a start being 3 away, and you've got a nightmare of a finish being 2 away on the road. And our, obviously, support staff and, all of our medical people and everyone who's official around Netball Victoria decided that for the first game, playing obviously on the Monday night in Wellington, then we'd stay for the whole week. So I guess leading up to it, everyone was like, this could go 2 ways. It could be one where we're sick of each other by the second game, or it worked in our favour. And I think it did. I think just spending that quality time with one another, we kept it regime and a bit of time away, but, spend it together, go out for dinners, go to the movies and things like that. And I think it definitely helped. And we knew that those 2 games we had to win to obviously finish top. And I guess that's the best thing about our Vixen season. We've been in control of it the whole time. So to get those wins, to obviously maybe send a bit of a message that we are here to play at this time of the season was obviously really good, and I think put us in good stead for today.
Have you been told what this week will entail for you girls? It's a week off, obviously, in terms of playing, but in terms of training load, is it going to be used to freshen up, given you spent so long overseas leading in? Have you had a chance to sit down and have a chat about how you'll deal with this week off?
It's going to be exactly the same as it has been for the whole season. We have our recovery day tomorrow. We've got the 2 weights sessions. We've got the 2 court sessions. And then we have an individual training session on a Saturday and usually play on the Sunday. But Julie's been very kind and said, you know what, Sunday, have it off. Like, we won't actually be doing any games or anything like that. I think during the week we might have a bit of practice just to make sure that we're still in game sense and game form and things like that. But everything's going to be the same this week, and everything's going to be the same just the week leading up to the grand final. We feel like it's worked, where every player knows their body, knows what they need to be doing to make sure they're ready to go on game day. So it's up to us. And as I said, once again, the ball's in our court. So we're going to stay the way that we've done, and fingers crossed that'll pull us through over the line.
Do you have an idea as to who you think you might play? Obviously, the Adelaide play the Magic tomorrow. General belief is Adelaide lost the most recent game to the Magic by 17 over in New Zealand. It's not impossible, but it would be hard for them to turn that around. So the theory is that it would be a Mystics Magic preliminary final. I know it's probably hard to tell at this stage, but from what you've gathered over the season, do you think there's a standout side around yourselves that you think you're likely to play? Do you think it'll be the Mystics again? Do you think it might be the Magic?
Honestly, it could go anyway, and when it comes to finals, teams play totally different and things can happen, and honestly just a totally different ball game when it comes to finals, which sounds silly. As you said, the ball and the court's the same, but it is, because you know that this is the last chance and everything's riding on the line. But to be honest, I think Magic is the danger team. I think they've been obviously hitting some stellar performance over the last few weeks. So I think they'll possibly take it over the Adelaide Thunderbirds tomorrow night and really take it up to the Mystics the following week. But at the same time, maybe hopefully a bit of travel might play part with them, and you just don't know. But I'll be very excited sitting down on that Sunday next week watching who we get to play.
A couple before we let you go. Obviously, Karen Howarth made her debut way back in round one, was subbed on in that game, so didn't start, came on and had a big impact against Queensland. And has it, I guess, have you been sitting back with surprise even at how well she's gone this year? The fact that now she shoots 33 goals in a final, full game for the, I think, the third game in a row that she's been out there the whole time, and that the real focal point now in that attack. And it's an amazing rise for someone to come through, I guess, the Vic Fury system to now be a focal point in a side that's hosting a grand final.
Oh, I think it's a great story. As you said, at round one, everyone was like, who is this Howard chick? And I know, yes, she has been a developing player, and it just shows that every player's journey is different, because a lot of people break in at a younger age. Some people just take that little bit more time to develop and, grow with the game. And she has been phenomenal. As you said, to be able to play a full game today and stand out in that second half and look for that goal ring with Tegan out the front of her shooting superbly as well. You couldn't ask much more of a goaler, and I think we all knew that it was in her, and just having that belief and knowing that we have that belief in her, I think definitely helps her play really well. But she has been an absolute, standout this year as an up-and-coming new talent. Now,
you would have found out a while ago, of course, but Australia's fittest netballer, you've won that. We saw that last week. How do you feel sort of sitting back now, claiming that particular title? Obviously, you're demonstrating that with your performances and running all over the court and the like. Bianca Chatfield finishing in third, so a bit of a Vixens double act in the top three.
Yeah, it's great. As you said, was filmed quite a while ago, but it's so nice to be out in the public now. And I don't know whether you can. I know it says the fittest netballer, but I don't know whether bucking bulls and rock climbing and beach flags and that are all very fitness-based, but I'll take it all. Even laser challenge, I don't know whether that, rules me as the fittest netballer, but I'll take it anyway. So I think having Bianca there in third too, we did use a few team strategies over the days that it was filmed, and a couple of the other girls got a little bit feisty about it, but maybe that's what led us in good stead for a great season, because we were ganging up on them all then.
Absolutely. Perfect way to start it, and hopefully we get the perfect way to finish it as well. Maddie, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the big victory over the Northern Mystics. So important to finish on top and host that final and get the week off, and you've done that. Obviously one piece to the puzzle left to finish, and we wish you well for that.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to chat to you, and hopefully I can speak to you in a couple of weeks with some even more exciting news.
Madison Browne there joining us. You can join the Melbourne Vixens to celebrate the 2012 season at the MVP Awards night on Friday the 27th of July. So a couple of weeks from now. Enjoy the night with the Superwomen, dine on delicious food, be the first to hear the announcement of the Vixens Awards and the coveted 2012 MVP, and hopefully toast a flag as well. Go to melbournevixens.com.au to book your ticket. Off the SMS, once again, the Vixens show that at no stage are they out of the game. Geva Mentor was awesome in defence. Cannot wait for the grand final on the 22nd. Stevie Bell from Wallen. Well, we'll hear from Geva Mentor in a minute. Update from the Grand Prix. Alonso still leading from Mark Webber. Lewis Hamilton did take the lead, but he hadn't pitted yet. Now he has. Alonso first, Webber second, Vettel third, Massa 4, Raikkonen 5, and Schumacher dropping from 3 to 6 as it stands at the moment. The gap between Alonso and Webber now 4.8 seconds. Vettel 3.6 seconds further back. So Alonso unfortunately stretching the lead at this point in time. Luke Saville leading 5-2 with a break in the first set of the junior final. We'll take a break. Chief of Mentor to join us after this. And yes, Rex off the SMS. Jack Stephen pinged for drink driving and suspended for a week by the Saints, but more on that later. Welcome back at 7 minutes to 11 o'clock. Just a couple of updates. Sammy Sanchez out of the Tour de France, unfortunately, with a fractured collarbone after a fall about 15-20 minutes ago or thereabouts. Luke Saville has a couple of break points against him, unfortunately, serving for the set. We'll get back to Peter Mercado a little bit later on. Off the SMS, Maddie was a star today and changed the game when she moved into centre. Howarth did a great job blocking the chairlift. That's Danielle from Dandenong. Another player pivotal in the victory was Geva Mentor. Joining us now on Superwomen Live is one of the bookends, a superstar in the defensive circle, Geva Mentor, who we've spoken to a couple of times over the course of the season. Played a pivotal role against a very, very dangerous Northern Mystics attack this afternoon in the Vixens 56-50 win. Geva, thank you very much for your time.
Excellent. Thank you for having me on.
Now, we speak about the challenges that various attacking combinations provide. Catherine Latu and Maria Tutayer, the future of the New Zealand side. Tutayer already in there, and Latu, the heir apparent to Irene van Dijk, and has had a wonderful season as well. And in terms of accuracy and shooting percentages, they're the most accurate combination in the game over the course of the last two seasons. So it presented another challenge. And Catherine Latu, a unique player as well, obviously fantastic at holding her ground in the circle as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're a formidable pairing. As you said before, the future of the Silver Ferns coming up through. And I think as the seasons have gone on, I think this is their second season together, they've just got stronger and stronger. And you definitely can't double up on one of them because the other one's quite happy to shoot the game out. So for us, we knew it was going to be a challenge. Thankfully, it's a team sport, and I had my girls around me, and they knew that they had to do a lot of work out in front of me to try and make my life a bit easier because, I mean, Kat's been playing a blinder recently. She hardly misses any. As you said, she holds her ground really well. So for me, I knew it was going to be a challenge, but really enjoying the partnership I have with Bianca, and I know she's got my back with whatever I do.
In terms of defence of the shot, are there certain players that are particularly hard? Because I look at, say, Tutayer's shooting action, and it appears to be, I guess if you were to write a textbook on it, almost perfect. She practically never misses. She shoots from a position that I would imagine is very, very hard for a defender to impact with a lean or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, she does prefer the longer shot. It's definitely a very casual shooting action, and she just shoots with ease. Actually don't mind her being further out. It gives you more opportunity to try and, I guess, change things up over the shot, whether you want to go for a lean or a jump. The only thing is, though, you just can't commit to one too much because otherwise she'll pass off to Kat, who's got a great position under the post. So, I mean, all credit to her. She's definitely sinking them from left, right and centre today, but we just managed to hold strong and keep chipping away at whatever rebounds did come, all the turnovers that came down through the court.
Did you learn anything from last time you played the Mystics, or was it a case of just maybe adjusting on some of the things you perhaps didn't do quite so well the last time? It was a pretty close game. I think the Vixens lost by 4 or something along those lines. But to be able to adjust from that and then confront them again when they're in good form and to be able to get over the top of them, was there anything in particular focused on from the last time you played, apart from obviously the chairlift would have been discussed?
Yeah, I think defensively, not really. We knew what we had to do, and I think each game is different with the different umpires you have and the different settings, and so we knew that they're obviously a tight combination. They work really well with their wing attack and centre, bringing it down. So for us, it was just about focusing on what we needed to do and just keep chipping away. I mean, we were definitely on the back burner the first half, and we just knew if we kept sticking at our game plan and working on what we needed to do, that we'd grind them down, and I think that came to light in the last half. But I guess the main changes for us were just being a bit more aware and more smarter of what they were setting up. We knew that Tema Para wanted to give them the quick feed, so it was trying to not get caught on her screen, and obviously our shooters been aware of that chairlift, and I think they only got caught off guard once during the game, but other than that, they managed to combat it quite easily with just the triangle passes around the circle edge.
Probably 5 or 6 times this season you've had to come from behind to win, the majority of those at home. It must give you great confidence. Obviously, no side wants to fall behind in the first place, but collectively as a group, you must always feel at every moment of every game that you are still alive.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's given the belief within the team that we're all fighting for each other and we're all working through. It's quite funny listening to a few people and they say that the Vixens tickets definitely come along with a heart rate check, but not for the faint-hearted. But we don't mean to do it on purpose. I'd love to be, I guess, smashing it in there and just be able to sit back comfortably and enjoy it. But the crowd definitely get their money's worth. And for us, we just know that whatever position we're in, obviously we want to be on top right from the word go. But whatever position we have faith in all of us and just taking care of our ball.
A lot of the victories have been off the back of, I guess, rotating through the squad and getting the right combination and using those bench players. But correct me if I'm wrong, I think you stayed with the trusted starting 7 over the course of the whole game. So at half-time, I guess that faith was maintained in the starting 7, and that was obviously justified with the ability of the players on court to turn the game around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a little change in the middle, just, I guess, to put fresh legs in. Chelsea and Maddie switched over.
Yep.
But, for us, I think the beauty with our team at the moment, because throughout the season we've been able to bring on different players and they've played such an important role that we can just look to our bench, and they're not bench players coming on. They're actually starting 7 who are used to being starting the game off, can come on and play so well. So for us to have that confidence, I guess it really lifts the ones who are on court to really fight for their position, and the ones coming on, we know they're going to do a great job if they do get that opportunity.
How important have the crowds been in close finishes? I know a lot of it's been said, and there's been record numbers at Vixen's games this season. Another big crowd at Rod Laver Arena on this occasion. How important is it for you out on court? Are you someone that perhaps gets into the zone and doesn't necessarily notice that, or does it feel like perhaps an 8th player on court? Or?
Yeah, no, they've actually been immense. You definitely hear them, although you are in your zone and you are focusing in on your teammates. You can definitely feel the buzz that goes around with the crowd, and I think they've got used to our style of play, that we're a bit of comeback queens, and we definitely fight for it. And I think Peter Laser's doing a great job with the emceeing and getting the crowd right behind us. And I guess they are that 8th player out there for us, and we've got that another home advantage going in for the grand final. But all credit to them, they've been brilliant, and it was absolutely awesome to be able to play at Rod Laver today. I think we're possibly back at Hyacinth in 2 weeks' time, but hopefully that crowd will come up and show the support again, and we definitely appreciate them and can hear them every step of the way through.
And I guess you've been on the visiting end of it as well in the past, having to come to Melbourne back in the Adelaide days. Was it something you were aware of back then, or did you feel as if it's got sort of louder and louder? But as a visiting player, was it a factor, do you think?
We definitely spoke about that. I remember when I was with the Adelaide team, and you definitely feel the difference when you're not on your home settings and you haven't got the home crowd behind you. But you do, as a away team, gather together and you do focus on what you need to do. So I'm guessing whoever faces us and challenges us at Hyacinth, they'll be in their own little bubble. But whatever our crowd can do to try and pop that, much appreciated.
Now, comparing this season to the Adelaide 2010 season, do you feel more relaxed having been in this position before? I spoke to Madison Browne a little bit earlier, and I think it was her first final, and Tegan Caldwell's first final, and Howarth's first final. And for a lot of players, they're in that position where they haven't experienced this before. But for someone like yourself, having been involved, I know obviously Chatfield and Coletto and Tregear have been a part of it with the Vixens, but you've been a part of it as well. Do you feel differently or more relaxed this time around? Or
for me, I always suffer from nerves, so it doesn't matter what kind of game it's going to be. But I guess I take that into consideration coming into another final series for myself. I like to think I'm a big game player, so I'll step up come finals. And for me, it's just about doing what I need to do on the day, and I try not to get too focused in on what has to happen and I guess the intensity behind it all. But I think it can only put you in good stead if you've been there through finals before, and I guess it's just about getting the other girls who haven't been there before. There's going to be a lot of excitement within the team. There already is within the coaching staff, so it's probably about calming them down as well.
Now, I know the competition's still relatively in its infancy, 5th season. We've had 4 different premiers across the journey. You're staring at the prospect the Melbourne Vixens are becoming the first team to win 2 premierships in this competition. Is it something that's discussed much, the chance to take the mantle even in the early days as the most successful team in this competition by being the first to get to that second flag?
I think it's something that's in the back of your mind. As I said before, we haven't tried to focus too much on the future and what the possibilities are and where. But for us, yeah, it's definitely in the back of your mind, and it'd be a great feat to be able to bring home that kind of success and I guess start the ball rolling with a team that's been able to back it up. I think it puts the sport in great stead. I mean, it's been such a tough competition this year. Think of all the teams that were up there fighting for the top 4. They're kind of sticks in it right down to the last game. And so for us to come out on top of the minor premiership and then be staring at the home grand final in the face, it's brilliant. And it's something that I think us bunch of girls really need to, I guess, open our eyes and really appreciate it, because it doesn't come along very often, and we know how hard it is to get to this position.
A couple more, but before we let you go, notice Julie Coletto heavily strapped up. She's a warrior. She's been able to fight through a lot of matches. Everyone get through the game with the all clear. I know there's a week off, but at this stage of the season, I can't imagine everyone's in perfect fitness, given the wear and tear and the bumps and bruises along the way, but everyone getting through feeling pretty sharp at this point?
Yeah, surprisingly, we're actually all doing well. I mean, all credit to the VAS and the strength and conditioning program that we've got going. We've got loads of support crew all on deck helping us out and at our every need. It's very spoiled in that case. But, yeah, I mean, Julie's knees, just a bit of Kate take round there, and it's like what she had before when she went through her surgery a couple of years ago. It's just support, so it's all good. I think everyone else's body's ticking over considering it's towards the end of the season. So, touch wood, I'm all right. So, really looking forward to that weekend off. And I guess in 2 weeks' time, we'll be fresh as a daisy.
Absolutely. And just one final one. We've had a couple of people ask this off the SMS. It's probably might be hard for you to tell being over here in Australia at the moment, but how much attention do players like yourself and, say, Joe Harton get back in the UK in regards to what you're doing over here? Are people talking about the ANZ Championship and talking about your exploits over here? Netball fans over there monitoring what's going on this side of the world and how you're tracking along?
I'd like to think so. I know ANZ has been a bit of a taboo in England just because it has brought over, obviously, their best players out of their domestic competition. But I do get a few messages and phone calls from likes of my old coaches, my current coaches and players just wishing me luck and saying well done. So I think a few players do keep track of what's going on over here and how we're doing, but it's quite hard when you are out of the loop of it. I mean, netball struggles to get any limelight as it is in England, let alone a competition that's on the other side of the world. But doing our best, and every time I go home, I keep singing the ANZ praise, and so hopefully one of these days we'll be able to work nicely with our domestic competition back in England.
Absolutely. Geva, thank you very much. Congratulations on the victory. Enjoy the week off as we count down towards the grand final. Everyone in Melbourne right behind you, and let's certainly hope we can salute in a fortnight's time on the 22nd.
Definitely. Cheers, Darren. Thank you.
Geva Mentor there joining us. This has been Superwomen Live, and you can join the Melbourne Vixens to celebrate the 2012 season at the MVP Awards night on Friday the 27th of July. Enjoy a night with the Superwomen, dine on delicious food. Be the first to hear the announcement of Vixens Awards and the coveted 2012 MVP. To find out more, go to melbournevixens.com.au to book your ticket. Formula One Grand Prix. We are 36 laps down, and Mark Webber still in second position, although starting to ramp it up, that's for sure. Both players on court going through their warm-up. We'll cross back to Peter Mercado after our next break. Almost showtime at Wimbledon as the Poms chase their first crown since the 1930s, and Roger Federer looks to regain his long-held mantle as the number one player in the world and win his 17th title, including 7 at Wimbledon. A staggering performance. Jeremy Roy leading the Tour de France at the moment with 84 kilometres left in the stage. A break and plenty more to come after this.